Good morning, children. This is lecture 4 of chapter Equilibrium. Some numericals involving equilibrium constant and concentrations we will see here. The first one is, in the following reaction, H2 plus I2 is giving you 2HI. The amount of H2, I2 and HI are given as 0.2, 9.525 gram and 44.8 gram respectively at equilibrium at a constant temperature. Now you have to find out the equilibrium constant for this reaction. As you know that you have to find out the equilibrium constant with this formula. K is equals to the active masses of the product with the power stoichiometry and divided by the active masses of reactants with their stoichiometry. For getting the active masses, first of all you have to find out number of moles of H2, I2 and HI and divided by the volume, it will give you the concentration. Okay, so how to do it? You can see here this whole reaction is taking place in a particular container. So let the volume of the system is V. Okay, so number of moles of H2, let me first find out that H2 number of moles is how much? That is, it is having 0.2 gram. The amount of H2 is 0.2 gram divided by its molecular mass. The molecular mass of H2 is 2, so we are getting 0.1. Now if I want to find out the concentration of H2 or the active masses of H2, it will be 0.1 divided by the volume that I have taken V. Okay, similarly the number of moles of I2 will be, it is 9.525. So 9.525 divided by the molecular mass of I2, which is 254. 254 because I is 127. Okay, atomic mass of I is 127. So I2 is 254. Now if we'll calculate it, it is coming to 0.0375. Now find out the concentration of the active masses. It is equals to 0.0375 divided by V because V is the volume. Similarly, find out for HI. For HI, it is 44.8 divided by HI is, I is 127 and hydrogen is 1. So it is 128. See here, this is the molecular mass of HI is 128. This is coming to 0.35 by V. Okay, this is your HI, active mass of HI. Now you are getting hydrogen, active mass of hydrogen as 0.1 by V. Active masses of I2 is 0.0375 divided by V and HI is 0.35 by V. Okay, now put it in the formula. K is equals to HI to the power 2 because its stoichiometry is 2. Okay, divided by H2 and I2. Now just put all the values. See here, it is 0.35 by V square divided by 0.1 by V and 0.3 0375 by V. From here you can see here the numerator it will be V square and the denominator also V into V, it will be V square. So V square is getting cancelled. So I am getting this one and the answer is 32.67. The equilibrium constant for this reaction we are getting 32.67. This is my answer. Am I clear to you, children? Second example. 1 mole of H2O and 1 mole of CO are taken in a 10-liter vessel and heated to 725 Kelvin. So in a 10-liter vessel, 1 mole of H2O and 1 mole of CO are taken and they are heated to 725 Kelvin. At equilibrium, 40% of water by mass reacts with carbon monoxide according to the equation. This is the equation. H2O gas plus CO gas is giving you H2 gas plus CO2 gas. That means when the equilibrium reached, 40% of water is reacted. Okay. Calculate the equilibrium constant for the reaction. You have to find out the equilibrium constant for this reaction. How to do this sum? First of all, this is the equation. H2O gas plus CO gas is giving you H2 gas plus CO2 gas. So initial number of moles of H2O taken is 1 mole. We have started from here. 1 mole of H2O we have taken. When equilibrium reached for this reaction, 40% of water already reacted. So what is the number of moles of H2O reacted? Number of moles of H2O reacted, it is 40% of 1 mole because 1 we have taken at the beginning. So it is 40 by 100 into 1. So it is coming 0.4 mole. That means 0.4 mole of H2O reacted when it is reaching equilibrium. So the number of moles left unreacted for H2O. How many number of moles of H2O left unreacted, that you have to find out? So that will be 1 minus 0.4. So it is 0.6 moles of H2O left unreacted. See here, this is 0.6 mole. Okay, now your reaction is H2O plus CO is giving you H2 plus CO2. So all are 1 mole. Okay, 1 mole react with 1 mole giving you 1 mole of H2 and 1 mole of CO2. We have started, we have taken the reacted, how much? We have taken 1 mole of H2O, but at the equilibrium 0.4 moles of H2O is reacting. So 0.4 mole of H2O reacts with 0.4 mole of CO, giving you 0.4 moles of H2 and 0.4 moles of CO2. Okay, so the total volume is 10 liter, that you know. So at equilibrium, what will happen? H2O gas will be, that is 0.6 is left unreacted divided by 10. So we are getting 0.06. Okay. What about CO? CO is also 0.6 by 10 is 0.06. But what about H2? That is the product side. So how much is consumed in the left hand side? That much will be formed in the product side. So it will be 0.4, not 0.6 for the product side. By 10, it is 0.04. Similarly, CO2 is also 0.4 by 10 is equals to 0.04. When the equilibrium is reached, children, please try to understand that when the equilibrium is reached, then in the left hand side, in the reactant side, how much is already reacted, that will not be there. How much is left unreacted, that much will be taken to find out the concentration, because I am talking about the equilibrium. And when the equilibrium reached in the product side, how much is consumed by the reactant? For the reactant, how much moles consumed for the reactant, that much moles will be produced in the product side. That is why it is 0.4, not 0.6 for this and this. Okay, now see here, H2O is 0.06, CO is 0.06, H2 is 0.04 and CO2 is 0.04. Now find out K. K is H2 gas, CO2 gas divided by H2O gas and CO gas. Now put all the values and you will get the value 0.44. Am I clear? See here, question number 3. 1 mole of nitrogen is mixed with 3 moles of hydrogen in a 4-liter container. If 0.25% of nitrogen is converted into ammonia by the following reaction, this is the reaction. Calculate the equilibrium constant of the reaction in concentration units. So what it is said? It is said that in a 4-liter container, 1 mole of nitrogen is mixed with 3 moles of hydrogen and it is giving 2 moles of ammonia. From this reaction we can see. Now it is said that 0.25% of nitrogen is converted into ammonia. Okay, you have to find out the equilibrium constant for this reaction. And one more question, what will be the value of K for the following reaction? The reaction is given, this is half N2 plus 3 by 2 H2. It is giving you NH3 only. Okay, now what you have to do? Initial moles of N2 is 1. You can see here N2 plus 3H2 is giving you 2NH3. That means initial mole of N2 is 1. Out of that one, 0.25% is reacted, converted. Already it has converted into ammonia. So, initially we had 1 and the conversion is 0.25%. So, moles of N2 converted into ammonia, moles of N2 converted into ammonia, is equals to 1 into 0.25 by 100. That means 0.25% of 1. So we are getting 0.0025. Clear? So as we said that 1 mole of nitrogen is reacting with 3 moles of hydrogen is giving you 2 moles of NH3 from this reaction. So if this many moles, 0.0025 moles of nitrogen is reacting with 3 into 0.0025 moles of hydrogen to give you 2 into 0.0025 moles of ammonia, I can say that. This is written here. Clear? Now, my reaction is N2 plus 3H2 is giving you 2NH3. So, find out what is the moles present for the reactants and for the product at equilibrium. So for that, what we have to do? Initial moles 1, 3 and 0. Why 0 for ammonia? Because when the reaction is just about to start, we have taken 1 mole of nitrogen and 3 mole of hydrogen, but at that point of time, no ammonia is formed. So initially it was 0. But number of moles at equilibrium will be 1 minus 0.0025, 3 minus 0.0075, and it is 0.005 because 0.005 moles of ammonia is formed at equilibrium. So then find out the active masses of N2, H2 and NH3. This will be 1 minus 0.0025 by 4 because the volume is 4. So we are getting 0.25. For H2 we are getting 0.75. And for NH3 we are getting 1.25 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay. See here 0.75, 1.25 into 10 to the power minus 3. From here find out the value of K. It is NH3 to the power 2 by N2 into H2 to the power 3 because the stoichiometry is 2, 1 and 3. So we are getting 1.48 into 10 to the power minus 5. This I got for the reaction. This is K is equals to NH3 to the power 2 by N2 and H2 to the power 3. Now I am having a new equation. The first answer I have got. Now the new equation is half N2 plus 3 by 2 H2 is giving you NH3. So what is the K for this reaction? Let us write it as K dash. K dash is equals to NH3 divided by N2 to the power half and H2 to the power 3 by 2. So, have you understood that this one and this one, it is just half of K. That means K dash is equal to K to the power half. Clear? So the value of K we have got 1.48 into 10 to the power minus 5 to the power half. So we are getting the answer 3.85 into 10 to the power minus 3. Children, please solve this numerical on your own in your notebook. Next is very important principle, that is Le Chatelier principle. What it is said? Le Chatelier principle is saying that when a constraint or a stress is applied on a system, when the system is in equilibrium, suppose the system is in equilibrium, you are bringing some change in that system. The system behaves in such a way so as to counteract the constraint. Okay? The Le Chatelier principle in the context of a reversible chemical reaction may also be stated as: if a system at equilibrium is subjected to a change, if a system which is at equilibrium is subjected to a change which displaces it from the equilibrium, suppose you are bringing some change and because of that change the equilibrium is getting disturbed. A net reaction will occur in a direction that opposes the change. That's very, very important point, very, very important principle. Okay. It is said that if a system is in equilibrium and if any change is subjected to that, which can displace the equilibrium of that system, then the net reaction will occur in a direction that opposes the change. See the effect of change of concentration. What is happening in a system which is in equilibrium if you are changing the concentration? The first is, if the concentration of the reactant is increased, this is a reaction A plus B, this is in equilibrium, is giving you C plus D. This is the reaction which is in equilibrium. Okay, now you are disturbing. What you are doing? You are increasing the reactants. You are increasing the concentration of the reactants. So what will happen? In the left hand side, you are increasing the concentration. So the reaction will move in a direction to counteract the effect. Okay, what is the effect? That you are increasing the concentration of the reactant. So it will move towards the right to produce more product. So that in the left hand side, the concentration can be decreased. You are increasing the concentration in the left hand side, but the reaction is moving towards the right. That means more product will form. And it is obvious that if you are increasing the concentration, then more product will form. In the same manner, if the concentration of the product are reduced, suppose you are taking out some product, that means you are decreasing the concentration of the product. Okay, then what will happen? In the right hand side, you are decreasing the concentration. So from the left hand side, the reaction will move towards the right so that the product can be increased. Okay, so it will move in the forward direction. Now see what is written. In the same manner, if the concentration of the products are reduced by taking them out, the reaction will move in the forward direction to produce more product because you are taking out some product. So the reaction will proceed towards the right. It will move in the forward direction to increase the product, concentration of the product. Very interesting. Similarly, if the concentration of the reactants are decreased, the concentration of the reactants you are decreasing, or the concentration of the product is increased by some external means. Suppose you are adding some products from external, through external addition, you are increasing. The reaction will move in the backward direction to compensate these changes. Am I clear to you? Next is effect of change of pressure. Suppose a system containing gaseous substance which is in equilibrium, of course, and we are changing the pressure of that system. Then what will happen? Suppose I am having an equation, this one, AA plus BB is giving you CC plus DD. Suppose I am having this type of reaction. In that reaction, the number of moles of the product, I am taking the system where the number of moles of the product, that is C plus D, number of moles of the product is C plus D, is less than the number of moles of the reactant, that is A plus B. This is the condition, suppose. An example of this type of reaction, N2 plus 3H2 is giving you 2NH3. Okay, so the number of moles of product is 2 and number of moles of reactant is 1 plus 3, that is 4. So this is the type where C plus D is less than A plus B. Number of moles of product is less than number of moles of reactant. Suppose the reaction is in this type and the reaction is proceeding in the forward direction. So when the reaction is proceeding in the forward direction with a condition that is C plus D is less than A plus B, so the pressure of the system is decreasing. If the number of moles of product is less, that means the pressure of that system is decreasing pressure. The pressure of that system decreases. If the number of moles of the product is less, then the pressure of that system decreases. Okay, now suppose this type of reaction, this type of system where the number of moles of product is less than number of moles of reactant, that means the pressure of that system decreases. In such a reaction system, you are increasing the pressure. You are increasing the pressure of the system. That means you are bringing a change. What is that change? The system is in equilibrium. You are bringing the change, that is you are increasing pressure, whereas the system by itself it is in decreased pressure, and you are increasing the pressure. Then what will happen? The reaction will move towards the forward direction, because if it will move to the forward direction, then again the pressure of the system will decrease, because the reaction, the condition is that. Am I clear? So in that type of reaction where C plus D is less than A plus B, if you are increasing the pressure for that system, then according to Lee-Sapere principle, it will move in a direction to compensate the increase in pressure. So how it will compensate this change? By producing more product. Okay. So it will move further in the forward direction, leading to more product and decrease in pressure. Because this system is that type only, if the product will be more, the pressure will be less. So this reaction will move in the forward direction, leading to more product to decrease the pressure. It is just offsetting the change. Okay, and just the reverse on decreasing pressure. If you are decreasing the pressure of that system, then it will move in the backward direction. So you have seen that for this reaction, N2 plus 3H2 is giving you 2NH3, that is the production of ammonia. In that, high pressure is required to get the more product. High pressure favors this type of reaction. Am I clear? Now just the reverse, when the forward reaction moves with an increase in the number of moles, where C plus D is greater than A plus B. The number of moles of the product is greater than number of moles of the reactant. Okay, as the number of moles of the product is more, the pressure of the system increases. As I told you, if the number of the moles of the product is increasing, that means the pressure of the system increases. Okay. If such a system is subjected to decrease in pressure, now I am decreasing the pressure. Okay. But my system is a system for increasing pressure because the number of moles of C plus D is more than A plus B. So the system is in a state of increased pressure. Okay, now I am decreasing the pressure. That means I am just changing the pressure. I am bringing a change in that reaction. It will move in a direction to compensate the change. Okay, I have decreased the pressure. So naturally the change will be increase more pressure. How it will increase more pressure? If the reaction will move towards the forward direction. That means more product will form. Because if more product will form, the pressure will also be more, increase. And this system favors increase in pressure. So if we'll decrease the pressure, then number of moles of the product side will be more because it will try to increase the pressure of the system. Am I clear to you, children? Now, if such a system is subjected to increase in pressure, now you are giving pressure increasing, the reaction will move in the backward direction to compensate this change because already it is in an increased pressure system. So if you are increasing more pressure, so it will try to compensate that, offset that change, so it will move in the backward direction. Okay, if we'll compensate this change by decreasing the pressure. If we'll increase the pressure of the system, then what will happen? It will move in the backward direction. Effect of change of temperature. When the temperature of a system in equilibrium is increased, that means suppose a system is in equilibrium and you are increasing the temperature. It will move in a direction in which more heat is absorbed. In a reverse process, if the temperature is reduced, the equilibrium will move in the direction to release heat. For the general exothermic reaction is given in this way. A plus B is giving you C plus D and heat is releasing. Now, forward reaction is exothermic and involves liberation of heat. And backward reaction is endothermic and involves absorption of heat for this type of reaction. Now, for such a system, you are increasing the temperature. Already heat is coming out. You are increasing more temperature. That means you are increasing the heat. Then what will happen? It will try to compensate the change. It is already a system where heat is liberating, and above and all you are adding some more amount of heat. So naturally it will try to offset the change and the system, the reaction will move in the backward direction because it will try to offset the change. So it will move, the equilibrium move in the backward direction by absorbing that extra amount of heat that we are adding. In the reverse scenario, what will happen if the temperature is decreased? You are decreasing the temperature. Okay, but the system is an exothermic reaction. That means in the forward reaction, it is an exothermic reaction. Heat is liberating. But now you are decreasing the temperature by withdrawing some heat, suppose. Then what will happen? The system, the equilibrium, will move in the forward direction because it will try to compensate the change, that is, it will try to liberate more heat because you are withdrawing the heat, some amount of heat. So the equilibrium will shift in the forward direction. Similarly, what is happening for an endothermic reaction? Suppose this is a reaction, A plus B is giving you C plus D minus heat. That means absorption of heat is going on in the forward direction. While for the exothermic reaction, it is in the backward direction with the release of heat. Suppose in such a system, the temperature is increased. You are increasing the temperature. But the system favors for the decrease in temperature because the heat is absorbed. It is an endothermic reaction in the forward direction. When it is moving in the forward direction, it is an endothermic reaction, absorption of heat. But you are increasing the heat. So it will try to offset the change. How it will offset the change? The reaction will move in the forward direction. Okay. Because it will try to offset the change, it will move in the forward direction, and by this way it will absorb more amount of heat. In the reverse scenario, if the temperature is decreased, you are decreasing the temperature further, then what will happen? The system favors decrease in temperature. Okay. And the temperature is decreased in such a system, then the equilibrium will move in the backward direction to compensate the change by the way of releasing heat. Clear? Effect of catalyst. A catalyst does not affect the state of equilibrium. And the value of equilibrium constant remains same irrespective of the use of catalyst. Catalyst is not taking part in a chemical reaction. Actually, a catalyst catalyzes both forward and backward reaction to the same extent. Therefore, rate constant for the forward and the backward reaction increases to the same extent. Okay, hence the value of equilibrium constant K, K1, K2, forward and the backward reaction remain same. So, the equilibrium constant K for this type of reaction remain constant. Effect of addition of an inert gas. How the inert gas, if you are adding an inert gas in a system which is in equilibrium, how the equilibrium is getting affected by the addition of inert gas. An inert gas may be added to a system in equilibrium in two ways, either at constant volume or at constant pressure. At constant volume, neither the concentration of the reactant nor the product change. Hence, there is no change in the equilibrium state if you are adding the inert gas keeping volume constant. But at constant pressure, what is happening? At constant pressure, you are adding some inert gas. So that means what? The total volume of the reaction mixture increases. You are adding some extra amount of gas. Maybe it is inert, but you are adding some extra amount of gas. So the total volume you are changing. So the equilibrium may change if the reaction involves a change in volume. Suppose the reaction is PCl5 is giving you PCl3 plus Cl2. So the Kc may be written for this reaction is x square divided by A minus x V. Okay. This reaction involves an increase in volume and the denominator contains volume. So, when an inert gas is added at constant pressure, value of V increases. Okay, that means it is coming in the denominator. Under this condition, value of Kc may remain constant. When the Kc will remain constant? How the Kc will remain constant? Only if the value of X increases. Okay, this is happening. This can happen only when the value of X increases, which can happen only if the degree of dissociation of PCl5 does increase. If the dissociation of PCl5 will increase, then only it will increase the volume. But if X will increase, the dissociation of PCl5 will increase, then only Kc will remain constant. Okay, therefore in this case the reaction will move in the forward direction if you are adding some inert gas at constant pressure. You are increasing the volume which is coming in the denominator, so it will disturb the equilibrium constant. But to keep equilibrium constant, Kc constant, that X must be increases. How the X will increase? It will be possible only when there will be more dissociation of PCl5. Okay, so the addition of an inert gas at constant pressure is favoring this type of reaction because more product will form. With this, we come to the end of chapter on chemical equilibrium. Go through the video properly, try to understand and take the help of your book for better understanding.